And now, HamRadioConcepts presents another exciting amateur radio video, keeping ham radio operators informed with a thorough look at the new products. Now, here's your host, Eric, KJ4YZI.
What's up, everyone? Eric with HamRadioConcepts. Yes, I finally picked up the SharkRF openSPOT, the hotspot for digital modes. They were on back order a little while, but they have been filled, and I have my unit. So check out the website in the description if you want to check out their site. Now, the SharkRF openSPOT, before I get into setup and how it works and all that, I'm going to show you what it does and how easy it is to set it up. But the SharkRF basically gives you an option now to use Dstar, Fusion, and DMR all on one hotspot, no SD cards to program, no images to hunt, and also the ability to use a Fusion handheld and talk on a DMR network and vice versa. So something that the DV Mega cannot do, and you don't have to have a Raspberry Pi or anything. As far as this, it's one self-contained package, and there's firmware updates readily available online. They keep it up to date, so it's not hard to find firmware updates. You want to read the manual. Manual is online, and I'll show you. We'll go through it together. I have not set this up yet. I've only unboxed it and checked it out and read the manual. Manual is very important, but it is very easy to set up. Here is the unit itself, the SharkRF Open Hotspot, and here's the antenna that's on here, little SMA antenna, and it does have a 20 milliwatt transmitter built in instead of a 10 milliwatt like the DV Mega. Status indicator lights are on here, and on the back here is a Ethernet port and your micro SD port. So Ethernet is for data and the programming over a web browser using an IP address or a web address to enter the programming, and your micro USB for power. They do include everything in here that you need to get it set up. The Ethernet cable, micro Ethernet cable here, but you can use any Ethernet cable, a micro USB cable for power, and your wall wart adapter. So again, very easy to set up. We'll do it together because I've read the manual. It looks fairly simple. Now, one thing I want to mention here myself is some people say, well, there's no Wi-Fi built in. I can't use this mobile. Yes, you can, and I'll show you right now. Let's pretend, I'm going to show you a couple things here that I have that are not affiliated with SharkRF. They are my own devices here, but you can get them online, readily available. So first, you'll need a USB battery bank. This one is solar powered, so this thing has a 300 or 30,000 milliamp hour battery in it, and this thing has two USB ports on it. So I can power two USB devices on here, and it will charge out in the open with solar. It'll trickle charge it. So what you would do is have your USB cable for the SharkRF, and you would plug in to the battery bank, okay? Step one, you have power. Now you say, well, how do I use data? Not a problem. If you have a cell phone plan, okay, you can pick up something like this. This is a TP-Link portable battery operated router, and this works with a USB dongle, 3G or 4G from AT&T or Sprint or T-Mobile. There's even some prepaid dongles you can get, pay by the month or by the data plan. You would plug the dongle in here with an active SIM card, and it gives you an output for Ethernet, and this runs on battery also. However, you can plug this in with the USB cable that this has for charging, and you can plug this into the battery bank as well, like this. Now you have the SharkRF going, and you'll have the 3G hotspot or 4G hotspot going. So you can use this portable without having to have an Ethernet connection. And there's some other ways of doing it. If you have a laptop, you can use internet connection sharing, but we won't go into that today. This is just my own idea because I want to use this portable, and it didn't have Wi-Fi, so this is the solution. Let's get into going into the programming it, and we'll check out the online and where the firmware is, and we'll show it. I'll use it for Fusion and DMR and Dstar, and I'll even check into the Dstar net tonight using this. So let's get to it. So the card that came with the openSPOT with the address for the manual, when you type that in, it's going to take you to the manual page. And this is loaded with information, all kinds of stuff on the unit, the LED status indicators, first steps to get you started, firmware upgrades, all kinds of information. And the best part is they don't have to reprint a manual. They can just add or edit information on the website. Look through it. I looked through a ton of this. Very, very useful. For the simplicity of this video, I'll just go to the first steps to show you how to get into setup. Now, these links here are IP address hyperlinks to the unit for programming, assuming you have it plugged into Ethernet and you have power on. Clicking this will take you to the openSPOT setup page. Okay? And the password in the manual by default is openSPOT. Now, you're in. Okay? And the status page shows you I have nothing set in here yet. I'm not connecting to anything. Shows you your hardware version and software version. Very important. I just upgraded the firmware to the latest. And if you need to know what hardware and software version you're running, so that's here on the status page. The received signal strength of the radio you're transmitting into the unit shows you here in a real-time graph as you transmit, as well as your bit error rate to see how many erroneous bits you have when you're transmitting. And your network UDP traffic shows you your data traffic in and outbound, so you can determine how much data you're using if you need to have a data plan, if you're going to use this on a portable battery router or a hotspot dongle like I had showed you earlier. So that's your status page. Now your connectors. Here's what we're going to do is we're going to go through, set it up to each one of the units and show you modes and show you how fast you can set it up. The edit connector page, this is the mode that you're going to operate the unit in. So you'll see DMR, Dstar, Fusion, and some others. So for right now, we'll go to Dstar, reflector, okay? And for the purpose of the video, I'll just set this to 435 megahertz and as a simplex frequency. And make sure that when you choose your frequency, you use one that is legal in the proper band plan so that you're operating legally. You don't want to put it on a repeater input or output. And at very low power, I'm not going to bother anybody here on 435. The server. So this is your reflectors. You can send commands from the radio to change these. You don't have to go into the web browser every time you want to change a reflector. But to keep the video simple, I'm just going to show you. I'm going to connect it to reflector 078 Charlie, which is the local reflector here for the Vero Beach Digital Amateur Technologies page group. So 078 Charlie and my call sign. That's half the battle right there. Click save. You have to click save after every section you edit. If you go to modem and back to connectors and you don't save, it's not going to change. Now, we're going to switch to selected, and it's going to ask you, do you want to switch the modem to the Dstar mode? Yes, because that's going to change the modem tab to match the Dstar at this frequency. It only takes about 15 seconds. It reinitializes. Now the modem page should match that. Dstar 435. And here's your transmit power. So 20 milliwatts. I'm going to dial this down to
RS078 Charlie.
So see, it's just connected to 078 Charlie. And I'm going to dial it down to 5 milliwatts. I don't need 20 right here. Okay? You're almost done. Go to settings. You can change the password of the openSPOT if you want for the login. I'm going to leave that alone. Network settings, I leave this alone unless you need to change this. There's documentation online that tells you how to change this for appropriate settings for your situation. And location. So grid square, automatic latitude and longitude, height above ground level, just a 10 feet, and my name. That's it. Click save. And again, if you change anything up here, you have to save that individually. You're done. You should be in your status connected to, in my case, 078 Charlie, Dstar, and if I transmit, you'll see the status goes to in call, and I get my confirmation back to the radio. KJ4 or YZI, anybody on frequency testing? I'm not sure if anybody's on, but you're already on Dstar. That simple. No SD cards to program. I'm looking at the counter on my page here. 4 minutes and 45 seconds. I set it up for Dstar.
KB4OVL from KJ4YZI on 78 Charlie.
KJ4YZI, KB4OVL.
The first Dstar test.
What I like about this is I don't have to set up the radio and a memory for the RPT1, RPT2. All I did was really go to a simplex frequency in digital mode, and it takes care of the rest. So that's a lot easier.
Well, that's kind of neat. Yeah, I haven't tried the other way and see if the DB megas and all, if you can drop all that information out or not. I know it was a meeting I had to have it, and I just read it that way ever since. But yeah, that sounds real nice. I'd like to see it when you get time. Maybe one of these Saturdays you can bring it over to the DU and show it off.
Let's go, now we're going to change it to DMR. Let's say you want to use a DMR radio. Okay. You don't have to do anything other than go back to connectors. We're going to switch the mode here to DMR. I'm going to go to Homebrew for the Brandmeister network. And I'm going to change the settings here again. Server. You want to pick the closest server for Brandmeister that is to you. The situation would be United States, I'll choose 3101. Call sign. DMR ID. Password should be filled in. I think it's default password if you need that for a server setting. And group call. Okay, and I'll save that. Now, we'll switch to selected. Yes, change modem mode. It's going to change the modem settings. And you can do the same thing with a DMR radio. You don't have to go in here and change anything if you want to change talk groups. You do that from your radio as you would for like the Raspberry Pi. You just transmit on a different talk group. We'll go to the modem page. That should match. Now you'll see here the demodulation mode. Let's talk about that for a minute. The demodulation mode is the best mode for your handheld. So if I were to go here, let's see, someone's already on there. I'll show you that in a second. Let's see if there's what it's doing here. Right now we're connected to the hotspot, but no server talk group here. So just by transmitting, for instance, into TAC 310, KJ4YZI testing 310. All right, now you'll see I'm connected to 310. If I change the talk group to say 3148 and transmit, it's going to open up on 3148. All right. Now that should be going right through the hose network. If I look at right here, the hose line, there I am, KJ4YZI, TAC 310. All right, KJ4YZI. There I am. Well, the audio didn't come through, but anyways, there I am there. Okay, that was at 1:11, and my clock says 1:12, so I made it through. All right, so that's it for, and you can see down here the received signal strength and the bit error rate. Now, there's a mode in here. If you go to connectors and we go to DMR AutoCal, this is an auto-calibrate mode so that you can choose the best demodulation rate for your radio. Now, what you'll do is basically transmit in on the frequency and hold that, and it's going to detect, and it's going to calibrate for the best demodulation mode like this. Wait a second. Let's try this again. Now I'm going through the, you got to switch to selected. Alright, let's try this again. Alright. Now it's calibrating. Alright, so you can see it shows the lowest bit error rate in demodulation mode C. Okay, so we'll go back to the homebrew, switch to selected, and the modem should be set to C, right there. Alright, so that situation, let's see if I come back out through the hose line on 310. Find a radio that's not dead. There you go. KJ4YZ came through.
I was wondering if you were calling me there. I just had the radio set off to the side.
Yep. I don't know what I did. I just reloaded the code plug and it worked. So, very good. I got this radio working. So, hey, at least I have a couple sitting on the desk that I can play with. I may not take out mobile with repeaters, but, you know, this one's a fully Tier 2 radio, but, you know, got a couple ones to play with, you know?
Always good to have a couple radios to play with. You've seen my bag of goodies, so you know where I stand on that issue.
So we're going to go back into this default password openSPOT. Now I'll go to status. Nothing's connected. We will switch this now to System Fusion. We'll go FCS. You can do the reflector. We'll just go to FCS. Switch. Now it's going to change this to C4FM mode. Waiting for modem change. Initializing. Done. Alright, and we'll do the same thing. 435.000, 435.000, and the server room number. A lot of different room numbers. I wonder if I can find my room at the repeater locally that is me and a friend have a repeater up. So I'll look, we'll go basic. We'll keep it on America Link. Alright, and my call sign. And I'm not going to put a CCS7 ID, but we'll hit save. Alright. We'll go up to modem. That should be C4FM. We'll change the frequency 435.000. 435.000. Save. I'll dial this down to 10 milliwatts. And that should be it. Nothing I need to change. Well, here. EL97SS 10 Eric. Oops. Eric KJ4YZI. Save. Okay, and that should be it. And I'll just hit reboot. Now, when that comes back on, I should be connected to a Fusion room, specifically the America Link. Oh, in call. Let's see what we got on the air.
Hey, John, KJ4YZI. How you doing tonight? Got it working here on the hotspot, and I was talking to Jim, and which repeater are you going through?
I'm on the AB4AZ repeater, 145-130 machine.
Ah, very good. Well, yep, the SharkRF openSPOT is working. I guess there's implement to, in the future, get the rooms and stuff working, but nodes and rooms and DTMF and all that, but definitely working. I had it working Fusion to crossed over to DMR, so that's probably how I'll test it with Jim and see how that's working. What do you want, the FTM 400?
Yes, sir. FTM400. I got it mounted in my truck. Still haven't figured out all the bells and whistles on this thing, but I do know enough to get on American.
Okay, so now you want to use your Yaesu Fusion handheld or radio to talk into the openSPOT and come out on the Brandmeister DMR network. This setup I'll show you. I had to get a couple little tips watching KC5HWB's video with Ham Radio 2.0 on YouTube. He had a couple extra pointers. But to get you started with that real fast, it's like this. In your connect, I reset this back to default so we can walk through it together. First page connectors. The active connector you want is going to be Homebrew for DMR Brandmeister. Alright, and you'll set your settings again for your operation. The server, we will pick US server. We'll go to 3103. You can pick any one that works, really the closest one to you. The call sign, KJ4YZI. DMR ID, of course, 3112887. Now, this is with the advanced mode checked. Without the advanced mode, this is the page you get. And auto connect to ID. So I'm going to change this to 310 as in TAC 310 as a group call. All right. Now, if you go to advanced mode down here in the bottom, it's going to open up some more features. We'll go straight down here. Now, route C4 FM calls to ID. We're going to change that to 310 as a group call. All right. And go up and hit save. Now you want to switch to selected, and it's going to ask you, hey, do you want to change your modem to this? No. Ignore, because you want your modem to be C4 FM for the Yaesu handheld. The modem is what the RF received into it. It's going to be an output is C4 FM. So the rest of it is handled in the network going from DMR or Yaesu Fusion to DMR. So the modem is set to C4 FM to be compatible with my Yaesu handheld. And the frequency, we're going to dial this down to 3 milliwatts. Save these as you change them. It's going to restart the modem. You'll see that it's sending in right here as I'm resetting this. I'm showing up on the spot here on the hose. Okay, so the rest of this you shouldn't have to do anything with one other exception. If you go to settings down here, well, of course you want to make sure you have your grid. Right here, DMR settings. Your DMR default DMR ID for C4 FM calls, change that to your DMR ID and hit save. Save this up here as well. Alright. And at this point, if you go to status, you should be connected, or it's just connecting now, connected to 310. Now the frequency doesn't show up here. There it is. C4 FM on the RF side, status standby. So now if I go, I'll switch the camera here, if I transmit in on my handheld, my Yaesu handheld, it should come out on the hose. So let's check that out.
And so with the FT1DR here, I transmit KJ4YZI testing. There I am coming in on the hose. Alright. With the C4 FM handheld. And gives you the option to get on and talk with DMR people without having to invest in a new radio if you don't want, or if you have friends. If you have a certain amount of friends that are on DMR and you don't want to invest in another radio just to talk to them, you can link right through on the FT1D or FT2D or any Yaesu handheld or mobile that does C4 FM fusion and go right to the Brandmeister network. And changing the talk group in the settings on that page for the openSPOT, you can connect to 3148, or you can connect to all kinds of them. So very interesting, very cool, very easy to set that up.
KB4OVL from KJ4YZI.
KJ4YZI, KB4OVL.
All right, Jim, so now I'm switched over to TAC 311 through my Yaesu Fusion handheld. You sound amazing. What do I sound like going in on a Fusion through the unit out to DMR?
Pretty much like DMR. Little, to be super critical, just a little bit of warbling sound in the background, but not bad at all. So it's, standard DMR.
Yeah, well, I get the beep after transmission on the DMR, but I mean when I'm going Fusion to the DMR, but Fusion by itself I don't get the beep, but I don't think it's a big deal.
All right, guys. So the openSPOT by SharkRF, SharkRF openSPOT. You know, again, I remember about a year and a half ago, there was so many different modes and so many different. What do I do? Yaesu, Dstar. What do Fusion, Dstar. Which mode do I want? Now there's DMR. Oh no. Well, the SharkRF, I have to say, incorporates it all in this little box, and you saw how easy it is to set up and go to each mode. So, a great thing. I looked on another video. I mentioned it before. KC5HWB. I think Ham Radio 2.0. He made a video on this not too long ago, and I got a couple pointers from his video. So check out his video if you'd like. Thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. More videos on the way. But the SharkRF Open Hotspot, if this video helped you, or you find this interesting, or you want to see more, consider a small donation on my Patreon page, which is now in the description and a link. Just got that up, and that'll help me get some more gear ready and some better audio video gears, get some more videos pumped out for you. So support your favorite ham show on YouTube with a small donation. 7-3, thanks for watching. I hope you liked it, and comment, subscribe below. Facebook.com/HamRadioConcepts. Check me out there, share this, and 7-3 from KJ4YZI.